Shemai everyone, and welcome to my review of Revolution of the Daleks, the New Year's Day special that just finished, and I'm going to talk about a few things that happened in the episode, what I thought about it. I'm going to give it a score. So once again, thanks very much for joining me today. It's been my first sort of TV episode since The Timeless Children, which is obviously like 9 or 10 months ago. So stay tuned. The first part of this review will be spoiler free, so I'm not going to talk about anything that actually happened in the episode. Then I'll give you notice when I'm going to talk about the actual story. I'll give you a spoiler warning. So stay tuned. After you've watched this video, make sure you put a comment down below. Let's have a discussion about what you think of the episode, like we did with Series 12. I'll be really looking forward to reading those comments and seeing what you think and responding as well. So yeah, so straight away, spoiler-free part of the review. I think this episode is pretty safe. It does everything you think that it needs to do. It pretty much is a standard Doctor Who episode. It doesn't really... It's you can expect it not to be as divisive as The Timeless Children or the rest of Series 12. It's pretty much as standalone as it can be as a New Year's Day special. It does have connections and links, but for the most part, it's on its own. I previously made a video on this channel called My 3 Hopes and 3 Worries for this special. So I'm going to go for a few of those later on, but most of it's fine. I love Captain Jack. I'm glad that he was in the episode. I think he was used mostly in a good way. And I think, fans of Captain Jack will be more than happy with his return in this episode. I think that the whole Dalek story was mostly okay. Yeah, it was not so bad or divisive. I think it did a good job of continuing on from previous episodes, but I felt like there was a few times where, again, the writing was not entirely at its strongest. It's not like the story was bad, but the way it was written maybe is a little bit questionable. I think that there was a few plot points that were maybe either rushed or quick, or just because the episode needed to continue, whereas the episode also had lots and lots of time for other things which needed to happen in this episode. There was a lot of dialogue, lots of conversation. There was, again, a fairly large cast, lots of characters, some of who we've seen before, some new. And the way that it is with some of the characters is that sometimes it can feel like, as a viewer, you know all of this already, but because the characters haven't met each other or the characters are unaware, there may seem like a lot more explaining to do. I think that most of it was good. I think the music was okay. It was continuing on from this season 12, which I thought the music was much more improved over series 11. So I'm happy with the music throughout the episode. It was a long episode, the longest episode I think since the 50th anniversary special. It was around about 75 minutes long. And how does it use this time? I think as I said before, it's like it used the time for certain things longer than some aspects of the story, which is both okay because the dialogue, the conversations, these moments are good moments, but it just feels like, wow, the sort of the pace of the episode gets broken up a little bit. But overall, I think it was good. The outcome was more, I think the outcome was clever in one way, which I'll explain more in the spoiler section. The CGI effects, they all look good, as you'd expect now. Hopefully, they'll continue into Series 13. We'll get some more very good CGI effects. Overall, a solid episode. It's not I don't think it's as divisive as the rest of Series 12. I think it's just an episode that you can easily put on the telly and just enjoy for for the duration, and because it's a longer episode, it does feel more like an event episode, a special episode, which is what it is. So I just enjoyed it for the time being, and I enjoyed it knowing that there wasn't so much thing, so high stakes, nothing high bigged up about it. Like there wasn't going to be any massive twists or anything that was going to change everything. So yeah, I think it was just an enjoyable episode. So stay tuned. I'm now going to go into the spoiler-free part. I'm going to go into the spoiler part of the review now. So stay tuned for later on. Maybe I'll put some marks on the video so you can tune in for my verdict and what score I'll give the episode. So spoilers. Part of my hopes for this episode was that it would link to resolution, and I was satisfied with that. There was plenty of links. In fact, the beginning of the episode actually continues on directly from the end of resolution, where the people at GCHQ take the Dalek remains that were left there, and they were able to reverse engineer it and create mechanical drones. I think that it's a very good way of making resolution feel more part of the narrative, and I think that as a sequel to Resolution, it certainly does a good job. I particularly liked later on in the episode how the reconnaissance Dalek makes a return in the black casing with the red eye stalk, because the Dalek mutants were all grown and cloned, so it makes sense that the DNA that was found in the initial Dalek casing was from that reconnaissance Dalek, and he does appear, tries to make amends with the bronze Daleks, and tries to get himself purified, only to be exterminated. But I think it was a moment. I don't know. It was a moment where it was good, because it was nice to see him sort of come back as a cameo, as a character that we saw from the previous special. He didn't last very long though. My other hope for the episode was that they would include more Timeless Child stuff. I'm a bit disappointed with this aspect of it though, however, because the Timeless Child arc was sort of touched upon, but it didn't really play a big part in it. Mainly with the Doctor's conversation with Ryan, which happened because apparently the TARDIS takes 4 minutes to reach Osaka in Japan from Britain. But anyway, they had that time to make a conversation, which they did. The Doctor's talking about how she's not who she thinks she is, and how that makes her angry. So, and that was pretty much it. Graham and Yaz didn't really have any conversation with the Doctor about what happened in the previous series. Of course, Yaz will get another chance. Graham, not so much. I'm a bit disappointed with Graham in this episode. He didn't really get as much time as I thought he would to shine, and which is a shame, because he was one of the most liked characters, I think, of these three companions. But that's how you manage with a cast, a large companion cast. But as of the end of the episode, hopefully we won't have this problem anymore, because Ryan and Graham have left. I thought that it was a suitable send-off for them. Mainly for Graham. I got to say, mainly for Graham. I felt Graham's exit a lot more, especially when he said his final line to the Doctor, like, "We do get aliens in Sheffield." I thought that was a good line. I thought it was a good way to exit the TARDIS. But for Ryan especially, I think they used the episode well, the time frame in the episode, for him to change his feelings about going back into the TARDIS, and how he was going to stay because he got comfortable back at home, and how Graham decided to stay with his grandson. I think it was a good moment. I definitely felt it more with Graham. With Ryan, his exit was more like, I was watching it and I was thinking, I just wish he was a more developed character. I wish that he had a better run in the show, a better arc, I think. That would have made his exit mean a lot more. Graham's, though, I definitely felt. I liked Graham. He was my favourite of the three. The other hope that I had was that it would tease Series 13 and beyond. It does do this briefly in the Doctor and Ryan's conversation about the timeless child and how it affected the Doctor. Ryan tells her to go sort her life out, basically, find out about her past. So that's what we can expect, I think, in series 13, but there was not much more about that. My worries about the episode, I was worried that about the escape, how the Doctor would escape from the prison, and it kind of was not exactly what I wanted, but it worked. I loved the scenes where the Doctor was in the prison. Those were some of the greatest scenes, I think, in the episode, because she was alone, she was sad. It was a different perspective from her character. She wasn't sort of the happy person that she usually is. You could tell that she was putting on a happy face, to get herself through. But she was really feeling that isolation period in the prison. I loved the sequences where they were going about their daily lives, especially when they went to the prison, because they had all these different creatures. The Weeping Angel made an appearance from another cage, and how you would trap a Weeping Angel like that, Weeping Angel's been trapped with chains before, but this one looked pretty. These chains looked really electrified. It was really cool to see that, but there was a bit of a jump scare there if you weren't expecting it. But there was also an Ood and a Sycorax, which was very interesting as well. There was a Silence in there. In one of the cages, and a Pating. Really cool. Like, who knows what these aliens have done to end up in the prison. Maybe the Ood was Brian the Ood from Time Lord Victorious, who knows, but that can be someone's headcanon if it wants. I might make that mine. But the escape was a little bit lackluster, I thought. I was hoping it was going to be a little bit more. I was hoping that the Doctor would be able to escape herself, but no, it was as people expected. Jack was there, apparently infiltrating the prison for 19 years to get the cell next to the Doctor, and he had this little bubble that was able to let them walk through walls, basically. So it was all very quick. He got her out. He had the vortex manipulator in there as well, and they got back to her TARDIS. Now, I was afraid that they were going to use Jack in this way, but I think they made up for it because he was in the episode for the duration of the episode. He had a part to play here. He was around to help out. So because he was in the full episode, him helping the Doctor escape wasn't like a cameo. It wasn't like his appearance in Series 12, which was a lot better. And I did like Jack in this episode. The other worry that I had was the companions, that they wouldn't get a chance to just talk about what happened in Series 12. So again, that's a bit of a problem for me. It didn't really, as far as I'm aware, Graham has no idea what happened. Sure, Ryan can tell him now, but it would have been nice to have some conversation. But I do appreciate how I said in my video, I said I hope that the time frame is good. I hope there's like 9 or 10 months between the Timeless Children and this episode, and turns out that is exactly the case, because it was 10 months in the episode, and that's because the Doctor gets the TARDIS wrong. She arrives back 10 months later, rather than the next day or something like that. So it's a shame. Later on, she does say, "Oh, maybe I should go back and change the timeline," but the Doctor can't do that, and Yaz is there to say, "Look, it's okay to be sad. We can move on." So it definitely seems like Yaz is going to take the center stage as the Doctor's companion in Series 13. I'm happy about that. I'm looking forward to a season where it's one Doctor, one companion again. And my other worry was that it was going to be divisive. Now, like I said earlier on, it's like there's not much in this episode. Not many bombs were dropped, like it was in Series 12. So I think that the divisiveness of this episode is down to you guys. I think I enjoyed it. Like I said, the writing was again a bit iffy in some areas. I'll give a few examples. Like, for example, when Jack appears, they're all in the TARDIS together. Jack says to the Doctor, "Oh, you're good," and then Ryan says, "Yeah, we are too." And I'm like, okay, Ryan, come on, like, do you want to show us that you're good, or do you want to tell us that you're good? And that's the thing. Like, his exit would have been better and would have been felt more, I think, if he had been shown as a better character with a better arc. Having to remind Jack and the audience that they're good companions is it's not so good. One thing I'll say is that Jack Robertson, the guy who was going to be the president before in series 11, he makes a return. I was hoping that he wasn't going to be as bad as he was in his previous appearance. I think he was. I really don't like his character. He's a caricature, and like, yes, maybe that's what he's supposed to be, but he's just so irritating. Like, seriously, like, when he decided that he was going to go talk to the Daleks, I was like, he's going to get exterminated. I'm going to be okay with that. But even then, he was on the Dalek spaceship. He was doing all these things, and he still didn't get exterminated. And at the end, he was a hero, like, in the eyes of the news. And like, I know you're supposed to dislike him as a character, but he's just so, the way he's acting it out is so bad. Like, you could make him a dislikable character without him putting on all these irritating mannerisms and things like that. He just, oh gosh, I really hope that we don't see him again. I hope that's it. Or at least maybe he'll get some justice in a future episode. But I don't know whether you guys like him as a character. I just think he's irritating. I think it would be better. He would make a better villain if he wasn't a caricature of a villain. If he was actually a villain, What else? What else about this episode? I like this episode more or less. I think that the ending of the episode was okay. I think that the fact that all the Daleks went into the other TARDIS, I thought, yeah, maybe they were all a bit eager to get into the TARDIS, but I think it was a suitable way to get rid of that TARDIS, because there was a second TARDIS lying around. Now we can think that the only TARDIS would be the Doctor's at the moment. Yeah, I think more or less that was a good enough end, because obviously they called the Bronze Daleks to get rid of the Black Daleks, and then she got rid of the Bronze Daleks. So yeah, it was an okay end to the Dalek story, and then it did focus on like the goodbyes, and I think that's the thing. There was a lot of quick moments in the episode that meant that they could have more conversations, like the Doctor having a conversation with Ryan, Jack having a conversation with Yaz, the goodbyes. All of these could happen because like stuff like right at the very beginning of the episode, Yaz, Ryan, and Graham just found Jack Robertson like easy peasy. Like they just knew where he was somehow, and they were there. The other thing as well that I thought about the writing and the speeding up simultaneously is that the UV light was able to. This is what they said. They said the UV light makes the Daleks come back together. How? that's one thing that baffles me. Obviously we saw in Resolution, the same thing happened in the UV light, sort of revived the Dalek mutant, and that was cut into 3 pieces, and they all joined together again. But in this, like, the UV light, the Dalek mutants were already there. The UV light teleported them to the Dalek cases? I have no idea, but that's the thing. It was bit strange, bit of a odd writing. Like, there's nothing wrong with getting the Dalek mutants into the cases, but just the writing. UV light, really. Is there anything else you could think of? And obviously that just speeds up the episode then, because things need to happen later on. So yeah, the writing is again not the strongest suit of this era of Doctor Who, but it's more or less an entertaining episode. There's some good Dalek moments. There's some good. I love the shot of the Dalek saucer going over the streets, and the Daleks flying around as well. That was really good. How am I going to score this episode? I think I definitely had some things that I liked and I wanted from the episode. I definitely some of my worries came true. It wasn't as divisive as I thought it was. As I hoped it wouldn't be. I think it's definitely a good episode. I'd say like a 7 out of 10 would be fair. there was a little bit of a tease for what's coming. There was not much conversation about what happened in series 12. Yeah, 7 I think is fair. Let me know what you guys think. Post a comment below. Let's start a discussion about this episode. Let me know what you thought. Let me know what you thought was good about the episode, what you would change. Are you happy with how Jack was handled? Let's have a discussion. Let's talk about it. I'm going to be there to respond. So once again, thanks very much for watching this review. I've enjoyed doing this again after the episode. I will be doing these when Series 13 drops, wherever that is. So stay tuned. I'm also working my way through Time Lord Victorious at the moment. Most of the products have been released, so if you want to check out my Time Lord Victorious playlist on this channel, I've done reviews of each of the items, much like I've done this, and I've also gone through each of the updates as they've revealed new products, and I've talked about the cheapest ways to experience the story, like whether you go digitally or physically, because you want to get the most out of your money. So check that out if you're interested in giving it a go. Also, stay tuned for more Doctor Who videos. Tomorrow, I'm planning a video of Big Finish's Masterful, which is the 50th anniversary of the Master's appearance on TV, so stay tuned for tomorrow's Big Finish review. So yeah, once again, thanks very much for watching. Thanks for all your support for the Series 12 review series, and all of you who watched and all of you who commented. Let's continue doing this. Post what you think of the episode, and I'll see you next time. Bye!